1984 by Chuck Foote and Larry Moore, the race is laughingly referred to as the largest police foot pursuit and is the biggest law enforcement event of its kind in the world. It has gone from 19 teams running through Death Valley to over 200 teams running the present course, which starts just north of Baker, California, through the towns of Shoshone and Pahrump to finish in Las Vegas.
But we could not do anything on communication with this race at all without ham radio operators.
The course map shows that the running portion of the race course is 120 miles long. However, for point-to-point communications across the race course, we're covering over 8,100 square miles, spanning 2 states with multiple local, state, and federal jurisdictions. Around 240 ham operators are needed to work the stages, start-finish lines, repeater sites, command post, and the timing functions for the race. There are also about 400 to 500 ham radio operators that are out on the race course in support of individual running teams. Altogether, this race brings out about 650 ham operators to work on this one weekend in some of the worst conditions for radio traffic that there is, and they keep coming back year after year. The communications network is the liaison between different organizing groups that combine to keep the race running and to pass not only administrative information, but also any health and safety issues that come up on the race course.
The ham radio operators have managed to somehow get a seamless communications net all the way from the start line outside of Baker, California, which is the middle of nowhere, all the way over the 120-mile course, over mountains that go as high as 8,000 feet, all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada. So much so that the race director from the start point here can make a call and get an answer 75 miles away in a matter of 30 seconds or less. The hams are there. They are a godsend. Without them, this would be a bunch of cops running around in the desert.
To provide relay or communications command posts, some teams take out portable repeater equipment to link their communications on the race course. Teams can ask ham radio groups with permanent repeater systems for permission to use them for communications during the race. Ibex Pass is a very popular position on the course to set up either manned relay or portable systems that cover the first half of the race course. Other favored locations for relay sites are Shoshone, Pahrump, and Stage 16. Several of the hotels in both Pahrump and Las Vegas are very good about working with ham radio personnel as they need roof or other special access to successfully manage the communications for the teams. With the development of the APRS system in the early 1990s, it was only a matter of time before this newest aspect of ham radio was put into use for tracking various vehicles on the race course. APRS is the system that encodes GPS data into standard packet radio transmissions, which are then broadcast on ham radio bands. This requires not only the hardware that goes into each vehicle, but also an infrastructure of digipeaters and eye-gates that are needed to collect the data from the race vehicles and send it to the internet where it can be viewed in near real time on a website. One of our teams from the race this year has given us this list as an example of what equipment they bring out to the race course to provide communications for one team. The first list is for the 4 fixed post positions that act as relay or information gathering stations. These are Ibex Pass, Stage 16, and the Silverton Hotel. The second list shows the different equipment used for the mobile radio installations: the follow vehicle, the catcher's vans, the team captain's vehicle, as well as the tech support vehicle. These lists are also supplemented by the addition of tools and boxes of connectors, miscellaneous items, batteries, fuses, and extra wiring, and all the other things it takes to install and or repair the equipment.
There's probably 10,000 people or more every year that are involved in some part of the race or another. And to get involved in that and to see the camaraderie, to see the people getting together and having a great time, whether or not you have a lot of equipment or you have no equipment.
You want to come out and there's a number of different avenues you can look at on supporting this kind of a race. If you want to learn your equipment, you want to learn what it's like to be in a full emergency situation.
And also just being part of a really big event that is, relies on volunteers. It's a lot of fun. It gives a real sense of purpose. It gives ham radio a good workout.
It's a challenge setting up equipment in the middle of the desert, making it work properly and cover what you need to cover as far as the 120-mile course. So I stress a lot of that, more as a training tool than just as a party.
So I propose it as an excellent way to expand your skills in operating your radio and working with your emergency communications group.
What makes you come back to the race year after year?
As soon as you're done, you're planning on the next year's already.
I guess it's kind of like the Swallows in Capistrano. It just happens. Once you've started this race, it's just part of you, and you look forward to it every year. It's a challenge. It's exciting. You get to meet some incredible people, and I think it gets better every year. And it's just something you have to do. Baker to Vegas. That's it.
What makes me come back year after year is this. I look at Baker to Vegas as an exercise in complete self-containment in my communications ability. You know, there's nothing out there except me and my gear and my team's gear, and it's a good exercise in planning and in communications, and it really exercises our needs for a disaster. If we can survive and have solid 100% communications in Baker to Vegas over 120 plus miles, we can certainly do it here in the city of Huntington Beach. So it's a really good testing ground to make sure we're up to snuff.
And it's that gratifying feeling you have that seems to stick in my mind every year. You know, you finish it and it's like, oh gosh, there's always next year. And then when next year comes, it's like you remember those good things. So I think for me, that's what brings me back.
Because we had fun.